Woody Guthrie wrote in 1940, and I use this as a prologue to This Land Is Your Land, which I believe should be the national anthem. But he wrote, he said, I hate a song that makes you think that you're not any good. I hate a song that makes you think you're just born to lose, bound to lose, because you're no good for nobody and no good for nothing, because you're either too old or too young or too fat or too skinny or too ugly or too this or too that. Songs that run you down and poke fun at you on account of your hard luck or your hard traveling. I'm out to fight these kinds of songs with my last drop of blood and my last breath of air. I'm out to sing songs that'll prove to you that this is your world, and if it's knocked you down and rolled you over for a dozen loops, and no matter what color or what size you are, I'm out to sing songs that will make you take pride in yourselves. Well, the kinds of stories that I want to tell and what attracts me to a particular song, and I think most consistently throughout my life, it was an attempt to find songs that would bring us closer together as a people, and that point out how much we have in common with one another, and trying to do it in a profound way, but also do it in a kind of a playful way and not get too heavy and serious. I would say I'm just a guy trying to make a difference and realizing, as we all should realize, that everything we do has consequences. And we can take one small step on a particular day and make a difference in the world. You may not see it that day, and it may not even happen that day, but they all come in small steps. And to find gratification in that is not always easy, because you want change to come to better the world, and you want it to come now. Well, it's not going to come now. But I remember reading a politician who said he voted a wrong way for his constituents. And he knew he would lose the election because he voted his conscience. But he said, I want to be able to look back at this 20 years from now with my grandchildren at my side and be able to say, yes, I lost, but I'm content because I was on the right side of history. And that's all you can hang on to sometimes at the end of the day. Well, at least I believe in my heart I am on the right side of history. Oh, but I'm just really delighted to be invited to come back and do Habitat for Humanity fundraising breakfast again for the second year. I'm 71 years old, and to still be able to do something that's relevant to the community and helps other people, it gives me a reason to live, and I just really love this. And, well, the biggest bonus is you get to meet all these people. I love that. There's wonderful people in this world, and places like this is where you're going to get to meet them.
Well, some of us are shaped like cucumbers, some are shaped like pears, some are smooth like dolphins and eels, and some are hairy like bears. But whatever your shape or your texture.
I first was interested in music. My mother was a big band singer back in the 30s and 40s. She ended up having 6 kids, so she kind of dropped out of the music scene to raise their family. But when I was a little kid, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, on Sunday afternoons, my mom would take the family ironing and iron in the living room and listen to old 78 recordings of the big band songs from her era. And she would listen to them and sing along with them. And I'd be in the living room, sitting on the floor, listening to these old 78 records. When I was 15, I guess, I wanted a guitar. And my mother got me a guitar for my birthday, and said later, she said, I think it was the most worthless thing I could ever have bought for him. But I stuck with it and kept on playing and playing and playing and playing. And my motivation back then was really, I was skinny, had a lot of health problems, pimple-faced, cross-eyed, and there was no way any girls were going to be of interest to, I would be of interest to them. So I figured, well, maybe if I become a guitar player, a folk singer, I might attract a girl. It worked. So I was happy, and by the time I was just turned 19, I had a trio, my best friend in high school and my older sister. He played guitar better than I did, sang harmony, and my sister was a real good singer. We had a trio called the Ridge View Singers. We were pretty good. We played a lot of local USO shows in the LA area. That's where I was born and raised.
Believe, and now I find it comforts me. I've come to love the mystery. The grand design is the leaving me from you. I'm gonna write words they're gonna knock me off my feet. A lot of kisses and at the bottom, yeah.
Well, one of the things I love to do is get people to sing along and realize that through song, in fact, through the singing of the audience, the people singing together does automatically develop unity amongst the people.
There's a light in the Vatican window for all the world to see. And a voice cries in the wilderness. Sometimes it speaks to me. And I know I love it most of all.
It doesn't even matter what the song is, but the voices of the audience singing together makes a difference in the hearts of those people. And I love doing that. It's great fun. And I do want to convey, there are so many songs about devastated lovers and, heartbreak and alcohol and, my dog died and all this kinds of stuff. And I just don't want to perpetuate that. There's so much that is useful that music can purvey to the world that I want to be a part of that movement. But I keep on singing anyway, even though I don't hear very well, because it's what I do, and I need to do something that's relevant to more than just myself. And so I play music for children, rest homes for retired people, and churches and preschools and libraries. And I no longer am trying to make a living doing it. I'm just doing it because the world needs it. And as long as they keep on asking me, I'll keep on doing it.
Quick draw McGraw? No. How about a puzzle? Puzzle? Well, you can't roll Steve in a boat. It's about time we start to make it the dream we've always known. It's about time we start to live it the family manner. It's about time. It's about changes, and it's about time.
Early on, when I was first learning to play the guitar, it was at the time when the Vietnam War was really starting to rage. I lived in a community that was very conservative, and all the churches that I knew of in my community were in favor of the war. Well, from the very beginning, I didn't see why. I didn't like the war. I didn't believe in it, and I wanted to give voice to an opposition to the war. Anyway, that motivated me to get into a lot more anti-war music, and went on a lot of marches and social protests and social activism retreats.
I bring it in the morning, I bring it in the evening, all in the land. I hammer out danger, I bring out warning, I bring about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land.
And come over here. These guys don't know it's your birthday yet, but I'm gonna tell them. Hey, guess what? Today is 50th birthday. 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Andy. Happy birthday, Andy. Take me to the Olympics with ya. We're all going with ya. We're all going to the Olympics. Happy birthday, Andy. Happy birthday.
But in television and in music, I've been able to travel a great deal. I've been to lots of I hate to say I've been around the world, but I've been a lot of places in the world. And because of the television and the music, I've gotten to know people in the TV business and politics and music business in a lot of different countries. And so I feel real blessed. I've been able to play music in China, Korea, Japan, all over the United States, Canada. Where else did I go?
Russia.
St. Petersburg, Russia, a few other places. And so whenever I've gone someplace for a television gig, I always took the guitar or banjo with me, and then I'd get a chance to play for the people in those towns, which I just loved doing. It was a pain taking the guitar with you when you're traveling internationally. But boy, it sure was rewarding to be able to play. Well, in Beijing, I got to play 3 concerts doing John Denver songs to several thousand people at a time. And I got to do one song of his that's my favorite of his, called It's About Time. And I sang it in English, but they printed it out in Chinese. So I'm singing the chorus to the song in English, and they're trying to sing along with me in Chinese. It was so cool. I just this is special work, and I'm blessed to be able to do this kind of thing. Stand up in front of 2,000 people and bring them to that. Just was like, whew, doesn't get any better than this.
This theater is an ideal place for playing and listening to fun, folky music. Just a guitar and a singer or two. Joshua and Andy Blyth will be playing just that sort of music here in a concert tomorrow night. How long have you guys been a folk singing team?
Well, we've been singing together since he was able to talk. He was humming before he could talk, and then when he learned the words, we never practiced virtually, but he's just been with me. Well, he's 8 years old now, and been singing ever since he could talk.
Now, you play guitar, and Josh, that's an interesting looking instrument you got in your hand there. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this is a nose flute, and see, this is right here. It's where you put your nose, and then you put your mouth right here. Go.
Can you scale?
Yeah.
How long have you been playing that?
Since I was about 6 or 7.
What kind of music are you going to be playing?
Melvina Reynolds probably is the one known most for, if anybody. She did Little Boxes, and she's done a lot of children's songs. Love Is Something If You Give It Away, Magic, or the Turtle Song, a lot of children's songs. We also do Woody Guthrie and John Denver type of music. So it's light, kind of fun stuff. We have a good time with it. Most of the people who come, generally, based on results, they seem to like it too. So.
I feel like I've had 3 separate lives. And going back to LA now to visit people or whatever, just seems like surreal. It's like I don't really remember that. I said, wait a minute, that was my life. I did this. This is where I was. So, I've had a very blessed life. All of the physical problems I've had that could have stopped me right from the beginning have. I don't know what my purpose is here on this planet, but I'm not done yet. I'm just going to keep going until I can't go anymore.
That's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to be here, because this is a spiritual home for me and has been for close to 30 years. But at that dinner, I was playing my banjo, and there was a little 4-year-old girl in a long sort of a velvet gown, and she had white lace around the collar, and she would look very pretty. She had a headband on, that was all, with a flower in it because she didn't have any hair. She was going through chemo. But I was playing a song, and she was dancing and twirling and laughing and smiling. Well, I just felt like I got in touch with what I can do and the difference that I can make. There was a lot of reasons for her to be joyful at that time. It was a very fun time. But I was a part of it, and she was dancing and singing and laughing and joy in her life. And I provided the music, so you want to do something to make a difference. Well, that's something I can do to make a difference.
I hate a song that makes you think that you're not any good. I hate a song that makes you think you're just born to lose, bound to lose, no good for nobody or no good for nothing. Because you're either too old or too young, or too fat or too skinny, or too ugly, or too this, or too that. Songs that run you down are songs that poke fun at you on account of your hard luck or your hard travel. I'm not to fight these kinds of songs, my last breath of air, my last drop of blood. I'm not to sing songs that will prove to you that this is your world, and if it's knocked you down and rolled you over for a dozen loops, and no matter what color or what size you are, I'm not to sing songs that will make you take pride in yourselves. This land is your land. This